Hey, what's up, gang? I know it's been a while. I ain't see y'all since I did my game plan versus the Packers. Um, been busy, man. You know, dealing with the holidays and Thanksgiving and everything. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you to my main man Jeremy Macklin for inviting me and moms to the Tennessee Titans game. Of course, y'all know we crushed the Titans. That was a great game. Big shouts to him for that. You know, it's one thing for me to be invited to the game, get to kick it with the players and everything, but it's even bigger blessing when I could bring my mom, because she got me into loving the Eagles when I was 8 years old. So to be at the game, to meet Jeremy Macklin, I had my mom's meet Macklin, and autograph our jerseys and everything. That's a blessing, man. So all praises to the man upstairs, and thanks a lot to Jeremy Macklin. I'm not gonna talk about the Titans game because that was that's pretty much a cakewalk. I mean, aside from the two interceptions and everything, but that was pretty much a blowout. Right now I got the Cowboys game on. Of course, Thanksgiving game where we basically demolished them. It's always great to win these games against them because we got 5 Super Bowl fans, whatever you want to call them. They trash talk all week. A lot of them didn't have nothing to say after this game, but that was the icing on the cake to a great Thanksgiving. So that was cool. But basically today is about me sharing my game plan and how I would go about playing against the Seahawks. The best defense in the league. At the beginning of the year, of course, they had some bumps in the road. They was losing. Everybody was saying, their secondary ain't all of that. But Seattle, just like us, we're hitting our stride on offense, and they're hitting their stride on defense. Like, after 2 convincing wins against Arizona and San Francisco, 2 division rivals, 9 points they gave up the last 2 games they played. And now they're coming to the link, bringing that top-notch defense with them. Arguably the best safety, the best cornerback in the league. So it's gonna be a tough one, man. And we haven't really faced a challenge like this all season. With as far as shut down defense completely. I mean, we did play Aaron Rodgers, but that was a equivalent offense to ours, kind of, sort of. But this is the real test, man. I mean, we had a good game against the Cowboys, but of course we see them again in 2 weeks when they come to the link. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have revenge on their mind for what we did to them at home. But I get into that next week. Um, Seattle, man. As far as Seattle go, I mean, you can't say enough about them guys, man. I mean, they go out there, they ball, their defense is the truth. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's pretty much gonna be what who shows up. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at their statistics. They're third in the NFL in points allowed. They only allow 18.4 points a game. They're first in yards allowed per game altogether, which is 285. Shit, some teams allow that in just passing yards alone. As far as passing yards per game, they allow less than 200 at 199.4, which ranks them second in the NFL. And as far as their defense against the run, they rank fifth, allowing 86.3 yards a game. One stat that stands out to me, that always stands out, is these guys average 170 damn rushing yards a game. That's probably by a landslide ranked first in the NFL. Of course, they got Marshawn Lynch, aka Beast Mode. Russell Wilson, he can hurt you with his legs. Then they got what's this guy's name? Ryan. The backup running back's name is hold on one sec. Backup running back's name is Robert Turpin. So these guys, man, they bring the pain when they run the ball. But to get off topic, man, my game plan against them, we do have one of the highest ranked offenses in the league. We score a lot of points. We rack up a lot of yards. And now even Shady McCoy is just starting to hit his stride, whereas he put together 2 nice back-to-back 100-plus rushing yard game. So as far as my game plan against Seattle, I would have to say the fact that they don't give up a lot of rushing yards and the fact that they don't give up a lot of passing yards. It's a tricky way I'm going to game plan against them. A lot of people say the offensive line got to show up. These guys game plan for that. Like, they got pass rushes. Of course, Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett is nice. He got 5 sacks this year. Kevin Williams in the middle. Like, their defensive line is always been based on stopping the run. And them guys are smash mouth on that defensive line. Then you get to that second level and you got the linebackers. The linebackers are, I had all these guys' names. You got, Cliff Averill on the other side. So, you're going to have Bennett lined up on the left side, which means he's going to be up against Lane Johnson. And, Cliff Averill's going to be on the right side, lined up against Jason Peters. Now, I'm not really worried about the Averill matchup. I'm not really worried about the Bennett matchup either because 5 sacks each, that's not really nothing to jump the gun and be too worried about, especially when we have the calibers of offensive linemen that we have. So I'm not really worried about them. As far as their linebackers, Bruce Irvin leads the 3 out of 3 linebackers. He leads them with 4 sacks. Bobby Wagner, of course, he's the ambassador. He's the middle linebacker, so he controls the run defense, and pretty damn good job considering their rank, where they're ranked against the run. KJ Wright, I think he'll be matched up against the tight end, if I'm not mistaken. But as far as them guys against the run, now 86 rushing yards a game shows you that Seattle doesn't allow a lot, and 199 passing yards a game. They don't allow a lot in the air either. So my number one game plan, and the first thing I was thinking about is field position. The fact that they don't allow a lot of yards means, and the sad part about it is they don't allow a lot of points either. So to give up 18.4 points a game, that's damn near 6 field goals a game. But if you was to analyze it completely, it's either a lot of field goals, few touchdowns. So they don't allow a lot of scoring touchdowns. So my game plan to start would be field position. And the way I would do that is going up against the Seattle type offense, they kick a lot of field goals, but their offense isn't dynamic or lethal. They just pound the ball with the completion every now and then. But Russell Wilson, he can run. So they're pretty much a smash mouth run team that is not afraid to run the ball. and averaging 170 yards a game, I wouldn't be either. But when it comes to like the ratio of like run pass, they don't score a lot of touchdowns either. So they'll kill you with the run game and get a lot of field goals, which means they'll kick the ball off a lot. Now, my game plan against them would be, number one, I have to start with special teams and where they get us as far as field position. Because if they kick a lot of touchbacks on kickoff, we're going to have to drive 80 yards, which is going to be, nothing's impossible, but it's going to be real hard to drive 80 yards on the Seahawks, whether you're running the ball or throwing the ball. Now, keep in mind, they haven't played an offense like ours. I'm just going by statistics and what's on paper. When it comes to our offense and their defense, they have the advantage. But at the same time, like I said, if we force Seattle to punt the ball, it's up to Darren Sproles to get us in good enough field position, because if you're not going to get a lot of yards on them, and I'm only saying this now because, like I said, they're hitting their stride now. In the beginning of the year, their secondary was getting burnt, secondary was getting torched, but it seems like these guys are gelling at the right time. So let's just say the advantage goes to them on defense. We would have to get a lot of points, or as many points as possible, through less yards. So let's say they punt the ball and Sproles gets to the midfield, and we start from the 50. Driving 50 yards on the Seahawks is a lot easier task than driving 80 yards on the Seahawks. So it's up to our special teams to get us in good field position from the start. Now, I'm not saying if we didn't start at the 50 or we had to start at the 20, we couldn't drive on them. Anything's possible. Your stats only show how good you are up until the last game. So I'm not even saying our offense can't move the ball on them, but I'm just basing my game plan off how good Seattle's defense is playing. Our best bet would be to get the best field position possible, which is always what you try to do anyway, but it's key in this game. Because like I just said, starting from the 50-yard line or the 40-yard line, or even scoring touchdowns for that matter. Like, if Sproles can take one to the house, Huff can take one to the house, that's even better. But the key is to basically get points off less yards. And the best possible way to start that is to start with special teams. Now, as far as our defense is concerned, they don't really have legitimate threats in the passing game, but it's not to be overlooked, because if you can get Russell Wilson, if Russell Wilson can move out of the pocket and avoid sacks, we got to bring Russell Wilson down. If we get hands on Russell Wilson, we got to bring him down. But if he can escape that pocket and throw on the run, that creates a lot more than if he had to throw from the pocket and we're locked down on defense. Their offense isn't really that dangerous in the passing game, but it's not to be overlooked. Now, as far as Marshawn Lynch is concerned, being as though their receivers aren't that lethal, maybe we can stack the box against the run. Get a spy, because the matchup will probably be Michael Kendricks, Marshawn Lynch. He can match up against Lynch in the open field. And I think Michael Kendricks is a good enough guy to get Lynch on the ground. But Lynch is a big dude. Like, Lynch is a beast. So if you grab him, you got to get him down. As far as Russell Wilson, like I said, you got to keep him off balance. If he gets to throw in the run, he can create passes to his receivers. But for the most part, I would go with stacking the box to and I would trust my secondary this game. Like, even though their offense isn't that lethal, I would trust my secondary to get the job done in man coverage and stack the box to focus on the run game. I think Doug Baldwin's going to be matched up against Kerry Williams. Their tight end probably be matched up against, but it's pretty easy matchup. So I wouldn't take their passing game lightly, but at the same time, like I would focus more on stopping Lynch. But that can also be the tricky part because if you put too much emphasis on stopping Lynch, then you don't bring down Russell Wilson, and when you get hands on him, that's what can open up the passing game. Now, I don't know how good their receivers are in creating separation, getting open and everything, but as far as I know, they're a run-first team, and they're pretty good against the run. As far as the pass, I think they're ranked in the NFL. As far as the rankings for them, yeah, they're ranked 29th in the NFL as far as passing yards a game. But the fact that they rank so high in running, they rank 13th in yards per game altogether. So, I mean, the run-pass ratio of the Seahawks goes to show you that they'll hurt you with the run, but at the same time, 192 passing yards a game means they possibly get first downs when they need to. So, basically, I'll focus on Lynch, but it's key to pay attention on third down, third and long, third and short, either way. But bring down Russell Wilson, bring down Lynch, stack the box, trust the receivers in man coverage. Now, that's how I would game plan against their offense. As far as game planning against their defense, now, this is the thing. You got a marquee matchup in our number one receiver versus their number one corner. Now, this is the thing. Seattle probably got damn near the, probably, not even arguably, I think Seattle has the best secondary in the NFL. Earl Thomas has, 70-some tackles. Cam Chancellor has about 70 tackles. These guys tackle. They don't miss a lot of tackles. They explode to the ball wherever it is. So, it's key to exploit these matchups the best way possible. I think they trust Sherman, which will probably be a mistake. I don't know, because a lot of teams slept on Macklin in the beginning of the year. But when you got a guy like Sherman who you trust as your number one corner against a guy like Macklin, who's having an awesome year, I think Sherman's pride alone, he wants Macklin man to man, no safety help over the top. So, this is where it gets tricky because you're going to have Byron Maxwell on Cooper, I think. But, last game I had Scandrick on Cooper. Ironically, Scandrick plays the slot a lot. So, they put Scandrick on Jordan Matthews more. So, if they don't value Cooper as a legitimate threat, they might put Byron Maxwell on Jordan Matthews, kind of like Dallas did. Because Jordan Matthews, of course, he's having a great year for a rookie, and he's opening a lot of eyes. So, they just might put their number 2 corner on Jordan Matthews and let their slot corner cover Cooper. But either way, man, that secondary, man, is so good. Like, in their run, it's hard to establish a real legitimate game plan as far as our offense is concerned, because they're so good against the run and they're so good against the pass. So, basically, the yards you're going to get boiled down to my point I was making on where special teams has us on as far as field position. Because they kick a lot of field goals. And our red zone offense isn't that great. So we might kick a lot of field goals too. But I see an advantage for us being as though they do have the better defense. But our defense is hitting its stride. So it might be a low-scoring game. But I can't really call it because our offense is so good. And Seattle, I don't think, faced the offense as good as ours this year. So it's kind of hard to predict how we're going to stack up. So I'm just going off, But yeah, it all boils down to where our special teams has us lined up on the field. Because if we can get a touchdown going 50 yards, that's even better. And On another topic, Mark Sanchez. One thing about Mark Sanchez that I like, and one thing that I don't like about Nick Foles is the fact that I always value Foles as a franchise quarterback, but where it was gonna boil down to was how he stacked up against these good teams this year. And like I tell you, me and my brother Zay, we debate everything. So we was debating, and I said, my brother Zay said, we gonna beat Seattle. Now this was me looking at Seattle defense from the Super Bowl like last year, and he was going off how our offense ran under Nick Foles. Now, this is the thing. Everybody knows the hardest part of our schedule was the second half. And now Foles is injured. So my analysis on him last year was he was always in the right place at the right time, right situation. We caught a lot of luck last year in the games he played. Like this year, for example, Aaron Rodgers whooped our ass. Last year, Foles beat Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't the quarterback. Now, last year I said it's not good. I wanted to see how Nick Foles would stack up against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, because my analysis on quarterbacks, it don't just boil down to how they play against defenses. Sometimes your defense is just not going to be there. It's going to be a shootout. So I wanted to know how he stacked up against the best quarterback, even if he lost the game. That's not the point. How he stacked up against the best quarterbacks in the league. Now, a perfect example was him against Andrew Luck. That was a good game. He went up against Kaepernick. Now, Kaepernick might not be one of the predominant quarterbacks in the NFL, but Kaepernick has Super Bowl experience and everything. Of course, you know their offense versus ours. We didn't score a point in that game. Carson Palmer, he's one of the veterans. He's not the better of the cornerbacks, but you were starting to see, how Foles stacked up against them guys, and he showed that he can still put up points. Even though we took losses against them, he put up points against Arizona. And the game I wanted to see Foles was basically a rematch for me. I wanted to see him up against Rodgers, but of course Foles is injured now. So last year we seen how he played against Dallas. He didn't really play that great against Dallas, and that was one of the teams I feared being one of the teams he would lose to this year. But see, now Foles is injured. So now you got Sanchez, a guy that really, he's proven that he can win against these teams. But Sanchez is already a quarterback that has those kind of experiences. Like, he already went up against the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He already been to AFC Championship. So now he's just a veteran quarterback that's proven he can do it on a different team. Whereas this guy, Nick Foles, that's we're supposed to be looking at as our franchise quarterback, he's basically getting a free pass because he's not playing in these games. So any criticism is going to come down to the team that's on the field now. And he's not. Now, I'm not saying it's his fault he got injured, but, I'm just saying I'm basically stuck on the same square I was on last year, where he didn't do enough to prove to me that he should be the franchise quarterback. And, of course, this year, all of the hard games, we got Sanchez playing. So if Sanchez goes out and he defeats the Seahawks, there's no question in my mind that he should be the starter even when Foles comes back. But yeah, we're just gonna have to see how he stacks up against Seattle. But y'all got it. That's my game plan. Starts with special teams and where they get us on the field, and we go from there. Cause you're not gonna get a lot of yards on Seattle. You're not gonna rush for a lot of yards on Seattle. Now, I'm not doubting my team at all. It's just mutual respect for what those guys go out there and they get done on the field. So, if I was a Seattle fan, I would be talking about my mutual respect for what the Eagles do on offense. So, it could go either way, and this is just my analysis and my game plan. But my game plan will start with special teams. And as simple as that. Didn't have to really get into their offense too much because they're not really elite through offense as far as just Lynch and their run game. But my game plan against the Seahawks, y'all got it, Get at me, comment, let me know what y'all think of this video. Again, shout out to all my subscribers and everybody who subscribed to my YouTube channel. The We Bleed Green Gang, the Bird Gang on Instagram. We_bleed_green. You know, love y'all. Twitter page, We Bleed Green. It's all the same, man. And the Facebook page, I Bleed Eagles Green. You know, everybody that support me, man. And everybody who's helping me build this army to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Of course, I hit 7,000 followers on Instagram on Thanksgiving Day, so thank y'all for that. I'm at I think almost 7,400 now. So you know, we gonna keep doing this, man. Bird Gang. See y'all Sunday for the Seattle game. Gotta get back to business. Love y'all. Peace out.